In her 1992 book called Return to Love, Marianne Williamson said, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us." I first heard that um, when Nelson Mandela was, when he was first released from prison. That was the poem he told us. In the episode 3 of the Lighten Up Project, we're going to have a discussion about hope. What is hope? How can you have more hope? We all want that, don't we? We all want to have more hope. Well, first, let's define it. What is hope? Hope, according to the dictionary, is the capacity to imagine a better future and to believe that you can take steps towards it. Belief. Hope is belief. Hope is perseverance. Hope is understanding. I'll get more into that later. Hope coexists with laughter and play and humor. They all coexist together because if you listen to episode 2, I talked about how hope requires imagination. If we can't imagine things, we don't have hope. And laughter releases, laughter, first of all, it stimulates the prefrontal cortex where creativity and imagination starts. It starts there. Laughter also releases cortisol, which helps decrease our stress levels. It releases oxytocin and serotonin, which are the feel-good hormones. And now that our anxiety and stress is less in our minds, we are able to imagine, and therefore we're able to hope. So without laughter and play, hope wouldn't exist. Hope is also connected to and stems from innocence and curiosity. As children, we hoped to become astronauts. We hoped to become supermodels. We hoped to become superheroes. That was our hope. Some of it's not realistic, but hope is not always realistic, nor does it have to be. Innocence is not always realistic, nor does it have to be, nor does it, should we ever limit it to only realism. Curiosity stems from innocence, which leads to hope. When we find something curious, we start investigating it, and investigating it, then we become more creative and we start formulating the connections uh, between, I don't know what I'm saying, but um, we start, for lack of a better word, hope. We start hoping for change. We hope for something different. We yearn for something different. We believe something different is possible, right? And we believe that we can take steps towards it. Now, hope is active. It always shows up in motion. Never can you be hopeful and still. Hope does not come from stillness. Now, mindfulness comes from stillness. Mindful and understanding yourself comes from mindfulness. That all relates to hope, because without a clear understanding of ourselves, without a clear understanding of the moment, we can't have a clear understanding of hope. We don't know what to hope for. So it all plays together. It all relates. When I was 7, I starred in my first play. That story is part of episode 1. I loved also not only being in the spotlight and being making people laugh and laughing myself, but I loved to play. I loved to play and I loved to run. And I was fast too. I mean, my nickname was Speedy G. Speedy G! Speedy G. I would, pew, pew, pew. When I was 9, I woke up in a hospital bed to hear my doctors tell my parents, your son has Ray's syndrome and he may be paralyzed for the rest of his life. And that was soul crushing. Not only was I afraid because I really didn't know what was going on, I didn't know why I couldn't move why I was stuck in this bed. But then to hear these experts say, I may live the rest of my life this way. I would never be able to run, never be able to do the things that I did yesterday. Fast forward to when I started getting well. And the whole story is in episode 1. But fast forward to that point when I started getting well and started to regain my balance and my mobility. I was starting to speak a little bit. I was sent back into school long before I was ready. And that caused a lifetime of bullying. First, external bullying, which occurred, that only occurred for about 2 years, the external bullying. The internal bullying, though, that has been with me my entire life. You know, I talk too slow. I sound drunk. I slur my words. I I can't do things quickly. I'm too slow. I'm like a turtle. I'm on and on and on and on and on. When I was in high school, about sixth grade, my stepfather suggested that I do some of the things that I did before my illness. And one of those things was I was active. I was an active kid. I loved baseball. And so I went and tried out for not the baseball team. At that time, we played t-ball. And if those of you that don't know, t-ball is just like baseball, except we put the baseball, on a tee. Some would put a softball there. We put a baseball on this little rubber tee, and that's what we hit off of. So there was no pitching. And otherwise, it was very much like baseball. We had the same diamond and the same players and all that. So I went and I tried out for the t-ball team. Coach said, no, no, we can't have you. You're a liability. You're too slow. You might get hurt. You can't be on this team. I was devastated. I went back and I tried out for the track team because, like I said, I love to run. And so I went and I tried for the track team because, hey, with track team, it's not like I have balls coming and, at me. And so I wouldn't have the same thing. But the coach said, no, can't join our team. You're just too slow. Sorry, you can't. So I was I gave up. Really, I gave up. But then my stepfather told me, look, Malcolm, it doesn't matter if you're on the track team or you're on the t-ball team. Doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how big a step you take. Doesn't matter if that step is to the side, if you step back, doesn't matter as long as you keep stepping, because every step is a victory. Every step is a victory. And so that was enough to motivate me to say to myself, I don't need anyone's permission to run. I can run on my own. And so I would go to the track every day when they were finished with practice, and I would run. I was very awkward. My balance was very awkward. I was very slow, but I was running. I was moving. I was having fun. That was me taking steps forward. And after a little while of seeing that, then the coach comes to me and he says, "Hey, Malcolm, come here. Boy, we need you on this team. You've got heart. You've got hope. We need that hope. You can come on this team." And so I then went on to be on the track team throughout high school, and then actually went on to be in track, ran track in college. That would be another story. But that was my story of hope. Every step has a victory. Every step has a victory. Hope is active. Hope is in motion. It doesn't matter if you're going, because each and every action has a reaction, right? So if you step back, well, science says you're going to step forward. You're moving. You're moving. You're moving, right? Every step is a victory. Hope is a choice. It's a choice that we make. And I know this now through years of study in the Eastern philosophy and in my martial arts practice. I've learned that where the mind goes, your energy flows and your body follows. Where the mind goes, your energy flows and the body follows. When I'm on the track, if I'm thinking about being on the track and continuing and running on the track, going forward, that's where my energy is going to go. That's where my body is going to go as well. So now I'm talking to you about all this. And you're asking, well, that's great, Malcolm. But I don't know if I can. I mean, that's great in practice and everything, and but I'm older now and I have a lot of regrets. I've made a lot of mistakes in my past. How can I find hope? Well, let me tell you, I have a lot of regrets too. I've made a lot of mistakes. A lot of them have been financial. But your past shaped you. Your present defines you. Hope is a choice. You can make a choice to do something different. That's hope. That's imagine. You can imagine a better situation and you can work towards that. You can take a step towards that because every step is a victory. You're taking a step towards that. And that's what defines you, not your past. Your past, yes, it shaped you, but your present is defining you. I love Martin Luther King Jr. I love Martin Luther King Jr. And in one of his books, The Trumpet of Consequence, he said, if you lose hope, somehow you lose the vitality that keeps moving. You lose that courage to be, that quality that helps you go on in spite of it all. And so today, I still have a dream. And then later he says that only in darkness can you see the stars. Only in darkness can you see the stars. There needs to be that darkness. There needs to be, maybe things don't always go right for you. There needs to be this struggle. There needs to be times when it doesn't seem like you're able to move forward. There needs to be those challenging moments. But you also need to have that imagination that comes into play with laughter and play. That imagination to where you can imagine something better. And you can imagine yourself doing it and taking a step forward, because every step is a victory. So if you want to increase your resilience, here are a couple of things that you can do. Affirmations are so powerful. And it took me a long time and many years to really learn about affirmations, to really understand their power. Sure, affirmations are these positive steps that are these positive statements that you make to yourself and you repeat to yourself. I am good, I'm special, I'm handsome, I'm awesome, and I am really, truly, I am the greatest. These things you repeat over and over and over to yourself. There are things about affirmations. When you're making affirmations, though, you want to focus on feelings. So, not I am rich, but I am confident. I am confident that I have the money to do what I want to do. I am handsome enough to ask that woman out on a date. I am handsome enough that maybe she'll say yes. Affirmations are like, I like to think of them as like little flashlights for the soul. Affirmations are flashlights for the soul. They focus on what we need to remember. And that's why it's very helpful to write our affirmations down and post them where we can see them every day. Another thing that you could do is practice mindfulness. Practice mindfulness to really understand yourself. And then to be able to ask yourself, do I really want that? I'm going to have a guest come up in one of our future episodes. His name is Shiraz Babu, And he is an expert in really listening and detecting between what you say and how you feel, because your feelings, your actions, your body can't lie. It really can't lie. So your actions are going to really say what you feel. So you can say, I want to get married and have a big family. And your body could say, no, you really don't. But your mind thinks, yes, you really do. And when you're mindful, when you go inside and you think about it, when you start to get that understanding with yourself that only comes from silence and being still with yourself. And I don't mean just meditation like listening to music, just relaxing, but not only focusing on the music, not only focusing on that, on everything going on around you, but focusing on yourself. That's what mindfulness. And then the last thing you can do is take risks. Always take risks. Don't be afraid of making a mistake. I have another guest coming up, Gwen Patron. Well, from the military, has a lot of experiences about taking risks and challenges. And so these are a couple of episodes that are coming up that you might want to tune into. But my affirmations, mindfulness, and then taking risks. Those are some simple steps that you can take towards increasing your resilience. And yes, they are small steps. They might seem really small, but remember, every step is a victory. Every step. And so that's the end of our episode today. Episode 3. Tune in next week for episode 4, when I will have a stimulating conversation. I believe that our first guest, we're going to have our first guest and conversation next week. You'll enjoy it. I hope you'll enjoy it as much as I did. Fatina Mays is going to be our guest. Remember this during the week, that every smile can open a door, every laugh can change a heart, and every step is a victory. Until next week, thanks so much.